thinking of somebody who's just maybe they think they have lupus. They went to the primary once, or maybe they had a cardiac event at an emergency doctor. You're saying the first person you should probably go to see is a rheumatologist, right? Yeah.
Particularly if you are a person of color who has a history of inflammatory diseases in their family or autoimmune diseases in their family.
And do they know
Right
why?
there.
Do they know perhaps why it's seen more often in people of color, or you said Latina as well?
Primarily, 1 in 250 African American women may develop lupus. But yes, it's primarily Black and Hispanic populations, women primarily, although men get lupus. And when men get lupus, it is really, really intense. So they don't know exactly why it affects primarily minority populations. There is some findings that can correlate melatonin in the skin and not melatonin, excuse me, the way that this we absorb certain nutrients and vitamin D and different things like that, because there's that vitamin D hormone connection to lupus as well. So some of that is beginning to be established, but there's a lot of mystery as to why it affects communities of color more.
Does skin exposure or sun exposure affect this at all? Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Over 60% of people who live with lupus have photosensitivity, where their body has a problem with apoptosis, programmed cell death, and doesn't function well. And there's an inflammatory process if you're exposed to too much UVA and UVB rays. Lupus patients has a unique UV threshold, and they have to be very careful about it.
And lupus is a chronic inflammatory disease, so obviously decreasing the inflammation as much as possible is something you don't want to focus on. What are some of the steps that you've focused on to try and help minimize your symptoms?
I definitely think it is a mind-body connection. The important thing is to comply with the treatment protocols that you and your doctor have set up. And to be honest, if medication scares you or you don't understand how it's going to affect your body, really be open and honest with those questions in your doctor's office or through a portal and ask the questions there. The number one thing that has been clinically and scientifically proven to help with lupus fatigue, exercise. No other pill you can take. It is exercise. So understanding what that looks like for you, whether it's swimming in an indoor heated pool to, get your blood flowing, to get your joints moving, to help, with all of those neurological symptoms that may develop, whether it's taking a walk outside of peak UV hours, whatever it is, dancing in your garage, whatever it is, get moving is so important. It's the number one thing that's going to help with lupus problems with sleep and also fatigue.